Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the weekend. My name is Tunde Alabi. Thank you for being part of the program today. The Prime Minister David Cameron has said a new extremist bill will target radicals influencing people on all sides. Mr. Cameron, who said that Britain must confront lack of integration, stated that the new bill will further stop young people from being groomed and brainwashed.
Wherever we're from, whatever our background, whatever our religion, there are things we share together. We're all British. We respect democracy and the rule of law. We believe in freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of worship, equal rights regardless of race, sex, sexuality, or faith. We believe in respecting different faiths, but also expecting those faiths to support the British way of life. These are British values, and are underpinned by distinct British institutions. Our freedom comes from our parliamentary democracy. The rule of law exists because of our independent judiciary. This is the home that we're building together, whether you're Muslim, Hindu, Jewish, Christian, or Sikh. Whether you were born here or born abroad, we can all feel part of this country, and we must now all come together and stand up for our values with confidence and with pride. We should challenge the ludicrous conspiracy theories of the extremists. The world is not conspiring against Islam. The security services aren't behind terrorist attacks. Our new prevent duty for schools is not about criminalizing or spying on Muslim children. This is paranoia in the extreme. In fact, that duty will empower parents and teachers to protect children from all forms of extremism, whether Islamist extremism or neo-Nazi extremism. We should challenge together the conspiracy theories about our Muslim communities too, and I know how much pain these can cause. We must stand up to those who try to suggest there's some kind of secret Muslim conspiracy to take over government, or that Islam and Britain are somehow incompatible. People who say these things are trying to undermine our shared values and make Muslims feel like they don't belong here, and we must not let these conspiracy theorists win. This is a group that throws people off buildings, that burns them alive. And as Channel 4's documentary last week showed, its men rape underage girls and stone innocent women to death. This isn't a pioneering movement. It is a vicious, brutal, and fundamentally abhorrent existence. And here's my message to any young person here in Britain thinking of going out there. You won't be some valued member of a movement. You are cannon fodder for them. They will use you. If you're a boy, they will brainwash you, strap bombs to your body and blow you up. If you are a girl, they will enslave and abuse you. That is the sick and brutal reality of ISIL.
The 5-year extremism plan by the government is expected to reduce the threat of radicalization and extremism. Again, the Prime Minister David Cameron has said his government is determined to promote his government one nation policy for the general growth and development of the whole country. Speaking at a road construction project in Cornwall, Mr. Cameron said that tourism remains a vital tool for driving economic growth and development.
I'm here in Cornwall looking at a really vital road scheme that we're investing in that's connecting Redruth, Poole and Canbourne, and is really important for the economy of this region. Part of a trip to Cornwall to emphasise what we mean when we say one nation, that we want all of our country to benefit from economic growth. Cornwall is the first place outside our major cities that is getting one of these devolution deals. So Cornwall have control over adult skills budgets, control over transport, greater control over economic development. We think making more of these decisions locally can drive economic growth and economic success in regions of our country like the Southwest and right here in Cornwall. Today I've also been talking about the importance of tourism. This is a fantastic industry for our country and for Cornwall and the Southwest. Today, sadly, we see twice as much tourism taking place in London as in the rest of the country. That needs to change. We need to get people out of London and to our great sites, to our great destinations around the country. This government, I'm absolutely determined, is going to deliver for the Southwest and for Cornwall. We made promises in the election about what we're going to do, and I'm back here in Cornwall soon after the election to demonstrate we meant what I said. Behind me, this bridge, part of the 7 billion that we're going to be investing in this Parliament in transport here in the southwest, vital for its economic future.
Now to the recent visit of Buhari to America, US President Barack Obama has commended President Muhammadu Buhari's integrity and willingness to fight corruption in Nigeria. The US President stated this during President Buhari's state visit to the United States.
It's a great pleasure to welcome President Buhari and his delegation here to the Oval Office for his first visit since the historic election that took place. Nigeria is obviously one of the most important countries in the world and one of the most important countries in the African continent. Recently we saw an election in which a peaceful transition to a new government took place, and it was an affirmation of Nigeria's commitment to democracy, a recognition that although Nigeria is a big country and a diverse country with many different parts, nevertheless, the people of Nigeria understand that only through a peaceful political process can change take place. President Buhari comes into office with a reputation for integrity and a very clear agenda, and that is to make sure that he is bringing safety and security and peace to his country. He's very concerned about the spread of Boko Haram and the violence that's taken place there and the atrocities that they've carried out, and has a very clear agenda in defeating Boko Haram and extremism of all sorts inside of his country. And he has a very clear agenda with respect to rooting out the corruption that too often has held back the economic growth and prosperity of his country. On both these issues, we're looking forward to hearing more about his plans and how the United States can partner with Nigeria so that Nigeria ends up being an anchor not only of prosperity and stability in the eastern part of the continent, but can also be an outstanding role model for developing countries around the world. And we very much look forward to talking about security issues, how we can cooperate on counterterrorism. We're looking forward to discussing how we can be helpful in addressing some of the corruption issues that have held Nigeria back and unleashing the incredible talent of the Nigerian people. We all recognize that some of the best business people in the world are from Nigeria, and they thrive as they travel to other countries, but we want to make sure that they're also helping folks thrive in Nigeria. We're also going to have an opportunity to talk about some of the other areas where Nigeria has taken leadership in public health issues, fighting tragedies like Ebola. Nigeria has an outstanding track record of working with us to eradicate polio, and that gives us a framework and a template to continue to work on public health issues throughout the western part of Africa, as well as throughout the subcontinent. We'll have a chance to talk about issues of climate change, electrification. As many of you know, Power Africa is one of our top priorities, making sure that we're electrifying the continent so that it can grow faster and more people have access to the power that they need. So we've got a busy agenda, but I want to emphasize how much I appreciate President Buhari's work so far. Looking forward to seeing him put together his team so that we can do everything that we can to help him succeed and help the people of Nigeria succeed. Because if they are successful in doing well, that will have a ripple effect, not only in West Africa, but throughout the world.
Reacting to President Obama's good gesture, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari expressed his appreciation to the US President for the role it played during Nigeria's election.
I remain ever grateful to President Obama and the United States for backing Nigeria to consolidate its gains on democratic system. The visit of the Secretary of State when he visited Nigeria to see the president, the former president of Nigeria, see the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Nigeria, and so the opposition was very clear and a positive trend that saw us through for this credible election we had. And the maintenance of pressure by United States, mainly, and Europe, to make sure that the elections were free, fair, and credible, led us to where we are now. It would have been almost impossible if the United States did not maintain the pressure on the former Nigerian government that they will not accept anything less constitutional as far as the processes of the election are concerned. We will ever remain grateful to, because other than other three fundamental objectives that our party identified, the All Nigeria People's Congress, or that security, economy, like employment, especially of youth, and then fighting corruption. We are extremely happy that the United States had made it absolutely clear, even before the elections, that they are prepared to help Nigeria in this aspect. And that's why I am here, and I'm very grateful for the invitation Mr. President extended to me.
Now to Burundi. Burundi's presidential election has held amidst protest and violence. President Pierre Nkurunziza's decision to contest the election for a third time was met with protest, violence, and attempted coup. The controversial election, which held last Tuesday, was boycotted by local and international election monitors.
I'm not voting because the opposition leaders told us not to go, as these elections are unconstitutional, illegal, disputed, and protested against by a lot of people, whether they are Burundis or from the international community.
If we look seriously into how the elections are happening, since this morning when we got here, we've noticed that very few people were coming. Until now, people haven't rushed to come to vote.
I came to vote because it is my right to do so.
More than 100 people have died in protest since April, when the ruling party announced that President Pierre Nkurunziza will seek a third term.
A team of staff which will collect the envelopes in which we have the minutes of the results for each polling station.
But there's no international observers. There's a routine intimidation of voters. There's been a sustained effort to silence freedom of speech by media and by opposition members. So this is in no way, shape, or form can this be considered a free, fair, or credible election.
Many observers believe Nkurunziza's efforts to stay in power could bring renewed conflict in Burundi. And with that story from Burundi, we'll conclude the news roundup for this week. Thank you for being part of the program. My name is Tunde Alabi. Have a very good week ahead. Bye.